AJ Reygadas with the Sauce Podcast. Thank you for tuning in every Wednesday at 7 a.m. Coming at you live from the Align Studios, S180 Productions. I have an amazing guest on this segment that I've been looking forward to bringing on the show. And we're going to hear his story, his journey with his business. This is someone that I've known since 2014. Yeah, since 2014. And I'll say that this guy is someone that has seen me in my most vulnerable moments when it comes to taking my physicality and my mental toughness to another level. And so someone that I admire and look up to this day, Rudy Trevino, who is the owner of Fit Stop CrossFit. Thank you for joining me this morning.
Thank you for having me. I'm been excited to jump in on this.
Yeah, definitely. So I wanted to bring you on this morning to talk about some things, and it just seeing over the years some of the things that you've gone through as a business owner, how you transitioned from taking that leap of faith of leaving your full-time career to running a business full-time, and then seeing the growth that you've had with the business has been an amazing thing to witness myself. Yeah, I mean,
looking back, I think there was a little bit of, what's the word, naivete?
Yeah.
Right? You think if I build it, they will come. And that was just not what happened, right? And so it's not that simple. Yeah, we started in our garage, right, with 2 or 3 people. And so backtracking a little bit, I found CrossFit. I fell in love with it. Yeah. You know, CrossFit is something that first of all, it's for everybody, but it scratched an itch that I had to be competitive, to see progression, to get really freaking fit, right? Yeah. And I knew almost immediately that I wanted to help other people do that. Yeah. How we were going to make that happen, I had no idea. Well, about 2 years after starting CrossFit, the wife, some things changed in her job, and all of a sudden she's free. And it was like, you know what? If we don't do it now, are we ever going to do it? And there was a little spot right around the corner from us that was for rent. And we were like, let's call the landlord. Let's see what's what. Yeah. And before we know it, we're signing a lease, and it was just a 1-year lease, but it was so freaking scary, you know?
Yeah.
And when we started out, like I was saying, I thought, we'd open the doors and wow, we'll be at 200 people, by 6 months. I'll give myself 6 months.
Just to give y'all some perspective on this though, y'all, like this was in 2014 where it was like CrossFit was like, it blew up at that point. Like it was taking off. The sport was taking off. So I'm sure that's why he also felt like maybe we'll gain a bunch of members. Right away.
Well, and my mindset was wrong, right? So in CrossFit, we call it race to the bottom, right? So if you charge less, more people will come. And we quickly found out that is not the right way to do it, because for a lot of different reasons, but it's not sustainable. And if you want to be in business to be able to help people, you have to be able to charge, what is going to sustain the business. And so, it took a lot of hard lessons to realize that, but using mentors and all of those things, but we were able to do that. And over the years that we've been open, we've steadily grown, and we are actually at that 200. Yeah. A little bit over the 200 number now. But it's
and I remember years ago we talked about that, and I remember we're talking about how many members were part of the gym, and talking about like maybe another named gym that were like, man, how do they have that many members? 200, and now here we are, where it's your gym that you have over 200 members now.
We're one of the big players in San Antonio. Truth be told, I don't know what other gyms have in San Antonio. Yeah. But I do work with a handful of gyms, kind of helping them replicate the things that we've been able to do. And there's gyms out there with 30 members, 50 members, and they've been around for a while, and so there is a struggle out there. It's not like the heyday in 2014, like you said, when CrossFit was, the big new thing. Well, it's just not that anymore. So.
Yeah, very true. And, it's funny because I still reflect back on my story when I joined the gym. And I like to hold this title right now that I'm the longest longest lasting member at Fitstop. That's not a coach.
Yep.
That's not a coach.
Yep. That is true.
Because I know that Adrian and Rebecca have been there longer than me, but
Angela, I don't know if she is or not too, but y'all
she?
were all 4.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so I hold on to that title like I'm an OG at Fitstop, and so it's kind of like, and you know, some of the coaches joke around and they're like, oh, it's because it's AJ. He gets away with whatever he wants because he's an OG here, and so, but I fell in love with the gym, and it's funny because before I joined, I'll never forget. I remember sending you an email saying like, hey, inquiring about it. Hey, I want to see about joining. And you're like, yeah, just come in. And I'm sure that a lot of people relate to this, but I remember showing up and pulling up in that little gym, and I pulled up right in front, and I'm just looking at everyone from my car working out inside.
Yeah.
And I panicked. I freaked out, and I was like, yeah, no, I'm not getting off the car. And I left. I went back home. And yeah, and I freaked out. I was just like, I don't think I can do this. Like, these people are throwing up like barbells and like heavy weight. So before Fitstop, I've never worked out in my life other than playing sports, but I never was a gym person.
Yeah.
Like, that was all new to me, you know? And so that was really funny to know. Like, I initially showed up and I took off scared, and then thankfully I went back, and y'all welcomed me with open arms, and it was a really cool experience. But I also remember I joined because I was at a point in my career where I felt, you know what, I'm making a lot of money. It's time for me to get a life policy. And I remember I pulled this $1 million life policy, and I knew that I wasn't fit, but I didn't realize how unhealthy I was. And sure enough, I get this life policy, and they're doing their medical tests or exam on me and whatnot, the physical. And I remember they told me, well, we have to charge you a premium because you're technically obese. You have 33% body fat. And I was just like, what? I'm obese? Like, I knew I wasn't fit, but I did not realize I was obese. And it really was a wake up call for me where I was just like, I got to do something about this. You know, like, I don't want to be like this anymore. And I was also in a point in my life where I was depressed, right? Making a lot of money, but I felt I was working 7 days a week, and I was getting burnt out with selling real estate. It was in my first few years of real estate. And sure enough, that's when I was like, I got to do something about this. And then Fitstop opened up down the street for me, and I wanted to check it out. I didn't know anything about CrossFit. I didn't even know CrossFit was a sport. And even when I joined, and till this day, Elaine, his wife, Elaine is so good at convincing people to jump in a competition. And like, she's like all about, like, she like peer pressures the shit out of you about signing up for a competition. And so she had told me, she was like, yeah, we're going to have a competition here. And I was like, what's that? And she was just like, like, yeah, we're going to compete on lifting weights and endurance and cardio. And she was like, you should sign up. You're going to sign up, and I'm going to sign you up. And like, she signed me up, and sure enough, man, can you put up that photo of the one where my beer belly? Yeah, the beer belly with me lifting the weight, me lifting the weight. So this was the very first CrossFit competition I did. That's my mom in the background. She showed up to watch her mijo. Yeah. But I remember, so you can't see the full picture, but I'm in lifters. I'm wearing lifter shoes, right? So for those that don't know what
they're the wrong shoes.
Yeah, they're the wrong shoes to wear, right? They're meant just for weightlifting. And in this event, if you see like the box right there and those what are those called? Slam balls. Those are heavy. Those are anywhere from 20 to 40 pounds right there. And part of the workouts were running, and I was running in these heavy like platform shoes that were not meant for running in. But that was my very first CrossFit competition, man. I got the beer belly right there. And yeah, I mean, that's when I first discovered truly what CrossFit was about, because I came in last place. Wow. I think it was like 16 people that I was competing with. And my mom was there cheering on her mijo. But I came in last place. And even though I came in last place, man, that day, I remember that day. That day I was like, man, I want to take this serious. I want to compete. I want to get better. I want to lose weight. And yeah, that was that bug that bit me that day, to where it was like, instead of going once, because even when I signed up, I think I was going like once a week. I was going once or twice a week, which is a common thing for new members, right?
Yep.
And once or twice a week, to where now is like, nah, I'm gonna go Monday through Friday. I'm gonna go every day. And yeah, it changed my life. It transformed my body and put me in a better, healthier mental state. It gave me confidence. And so it was a really cool experience to see myself and my body evolve throughout the years.
And that is exactly why Elaine gets people to sign up for competitions.
She's
because
so good at
you get bitten by that bug. You get this high after doing something like that. And it's like, when's the next one?
Yeah.
When's the next one?
Yep.
And you just, I mean, look, we're 8 years later, here we are, talking
and
about.
it's funny because, not funny, but I think also what caused me to fall in love with CrossFit was at that event where that picture was at, the very first event I did. Like I said, I came in last place. To see how everyone's cheering for you, right? You're the last one to finish the workout. And the guys you're competing with.
That's the best and worst part of competing, to be honest. It really is.
Especially now. Like, if I'm doing that now and I'm the last one to finish, it's like, oh, get away from me, y'all. Like, but it was such a cool experience to see, like, dude, they're like cheering for you. Like, this is really cool. Like, the guys you're competing with are actually cheering for you.
I was that guy a few years ago at the Fittest Experience in one of the workouts, the last one in my heat to finish, and it's like, all eyes are on you, and the announcer's right there talking. Rudy Trevino in lane 12.
And it's probably your worst moment of your
really
workout, too,
slow.
You're just trying to find that last part of fuel in your body to finish this workout. So now you got everyone watching you and cheering you on, and it's like, oh, it's like you want the attention, but you don't want the attention.
And really, to your point, it's almost like that last person gets more cheers and more applause and more people behind them than even that first person that is finishing that heat. It's just, in CrossFit, we just want you to work hard. Yeah. That is the only thing that we really ask. And so many people come into this starting off and they're scared of it. They're scared, they're intimidated, they're afraid of being embarrassed. Like, what if I don't know what I'm doing and I look silly? Like, just show up and move. Yeah. That's all anyone cares about. And if AJ's over here doing people don't know what muscle ups probably, but doing, pull-ups all the way touching his chest and that type of thing, and you're over here doing ring rows, who cares? Because that's what AJ was doing when he started out. Yeah. And to speak to what you were saying earlier, you being in that parking lot looking in intimidated, I don't tell that specific story to new people all the time, but what I tell them is, you walked in here today and it's the building's electric, and you're looking around, you're like, what the heck am I doing here, right? 6 months from now, you're going to be the person in that class that the new person is walking in saying, I want to be like that. And it's hard to visualize in that moment, but it's so true, because like, people look to you now and it's like, AJ's freaking fit, man. He looks great. He's one of the top competitors, like all those things. But it all started with you being scared in that parking lot and not even wanting to walk in the door. But you gotta walk in the door. Yeah.
Show the before and after, because he's right. There's been multiple members throughout the years, many members throughout the years that. So to the left, right there to the left, that was me, I would say, as I probably joined CrossFit. So that's me, 33% body fat right there. And I mean, I was just I looked older there. Like, I looked older. That was, And so I was just so unhealthy, man. And I love sharing this side by side every now and then, because, I look to, like, man, like, hopefully I can help others, like, inspire others or whatever it may be, because I was once there myself. But I mean, even just the smile, I'm in a much better mental place. I'm more happy. And I've used it as my outlet now with the gym. I've used it to where, I purposely work out in the evenings because I like to decompress and take away my stress from the day, from work. And so even throughout the years, for the longest time, once I got that bug and all I wanted to do was work out, it was so crazy to take a day off. You would take a day off and you're like, well, what do I do with myself? Like, I don't know what to do because it's part of my lifestyle.
Yeah.
It's a lifestyle. And so I'm so used to just going straight to the gym after work. And so when you take a day off or, you have an event to go to, it's like, well, shit, I can't work out tonight. Just like tonight, there's a concert tonight. And I was like, man, I'm not going to be able to work out. So it's little things like that I think of, and it's true. People fall in love with it.
And you said it. It's a lifestyle, right? And so a lot of people come in thinking, so we advertise a lot. So a 12-week challenge or 6 weeks challenge or that type of thing, because people look at that and everyone thinks I can do anything for that amount of time. But the truth is, in order for something to really work, you've got to invest yourself in it, and you've got to be all in, because then otherwise you're just on this roller coaster of losing weight, gaining weight, being fit, being unfit, and that cycle never ends until you actually commit yourself to doing something consistently. The secret to fitness is there is no secret. Just freaking find something that you like and stick with it. Just stick with it. It's you're not gonna solve all of your problems in 6 weeks, 12 weeks, a year, 2 years, even, right? You've got to be in it for the long haul.
Yeah,
so.
and that's why I make it a point whenever I see a new member, I make it a point to go up to them and introduce myself, because I know how they feel. There's a good chance that they feel the same way I felt when I first started. And so I make it a point to go and introduce myself and joke with them a little bit and check on them maybe after the workout. How do you feel? How was it? Things like that. Because I know exactly what they're feeling and what they're going through. But I think also what I love the most about CrossFit, and we kind of touched on it a bit ago, is you might have someone that's considered very fit or very good with the workout because of their ability to keep up on the endurance side or strength side. And then you have a brand new member that just joined that maybe is learning how to do a pull-up, which, by the way, I couldn't even do a pull-up when I joined. I had to use a band to help me get above my chin above the bar. But when you have these people together in a class working out, what I love about CrossFit, even though that new member might scale it to where they're doing a movement that maybe isn't as technical as an experienced athlete, we're both going to feel the same at the end of the workout.
Yeah.
We're both going to feel, regardless of the different movements or the different weights that we're throwing up with the barbell, we're both going to feel the exact same way when we're done working out. And that's what's cool. That's what's the beauty, in my opinion, of CrossFit.
Yeah, it's progression, right? You get better and better and better, but it never gets easier.
Yeah.
Right. And it's almost like I was telling someone the other day, you never really arrive. I've been personally doing CrossFit now for 10 years, 11 years, something like that, maybe even 12. I don't know my timeline anymore. But I'm still hitting PRs. I'm still getting stronger. I'm still getting faster. And I'm 42 years old. Like, how many 42-year-olds can say that they do the things that we do on a daily basis?
That's very true.
We are in a very, very small percentage of the population, and not because we're elite athletes, it's because we invested ourselves in the process. Right? We're there every day.
Very true.
The other part of that is, yes, we're consistent and we do it all the time, but it's not a huge time investment either. You don't have to be in the gym 2, 3, 4 hours. I do typically what the class does 4 days a week, sometimes 5 if I'm feeling up to it. And that's it. That's it. And at 42 years old, I'm the fittest I've ever been in my life. It's so just like you, when I started out, so I was 30, 31 maybe.
Damn, I remember I've seen the picture of you and Elaine too when y'all first started.
I was the same things, right? I was obese. I was on blood pressure medication. I was borderline diabetic. I was all these things in my early 30s. And now I go to the doctor and I freak him out because my resting heart rate is so low. They're like, "Are you feeling okay?" No, it's just because I work out a lot. It's not because I'm sick. It's because I'm really freaking fit. And it's like I said, you don't have to live in the gym. You just have to be consistent day after day.
It's very true. And that's something, amongst other things I want to talk about. Like, one of the things that's always, like, I've been reminded by, as I see it daily in the gym, is, and no, I'm not trying to dog my Gold's Gym buddies, because I still go every now and then to Gold's Gym, but when you're at, like, you see the people that go to Gold's Gym and they're all about taking selfies, right? Selfies of themselves at the gym. At CrossFit, you see videos and pictures being taken of PRs.
Yeah.
Right? You don't see women or men taking selfies at CrossFit. You see them taking a picture or a video of them hitting a weight on a barbell that they've never hit before. And it's so cool to see the difference.
And the reason is not that aesthetic ever goes away. Everyone wants to look good naked, right? I mean, that goes without saying. But the focus shifts from I want to look good naked primarily to I want to get stronger in the snatch, or I want to do that workout a little bit faster, or I want to get better at my running. And when you start to see that progression, that's what you're proud of. The nice side effect is, yes, you will start to look better, naked.
So, I mean, there's been, being there for so long and being a member, there's been so many members I've seen myself not only progress in their ability to do different technical work movements in CrossFit, but also just seeing them change their lifestyle, them change their physical appearance, where it's like, holy crap, man. Like I saw that with my own eyes, where so many people have lost over 100 pounds,
over 100, 200 pounds even.
It's crazy to see. And so we celebrate those wins when we now see a member that maybe would only do step ups on a box that now has the ability to do a box jump, and believe it or not, that's a big fear. A box jump is a fear for a lot of people.
It is.
It's what, 20 to 24 inches that you're jumping on a box, but at the same time, it is a fear because it's that fear of like, what if I miss it? What if I fall? What if I hurt myself? And we have hurt ourselves over the years with catching it to the shin, and when we're doing high reps because of maybe the fatigue in the workout. But it's really cool to see and celebrate those wins when you see someone that's newer be able to hit a PR on something as little as a box jump or as a double under. I'm always reminding members myself when we're doing double under work and they're just like, man, like, how do you do that? Or how are you so good at that? I'm like, it took me 3 years to be able to get double unders.
You sucked at double unders. I used to, as you started to get better and more and more fit, I always remember thinking, oh, yes, there's double unders in this workout, so AJ won't beat me on this one. And now I don't have that anymore.
That's so funny. It's so funny because to this day, we have every now and then we have the ability where all the coaches are working out together or whatever it may be. And it's really cool because that's when we really test ourselves. There's that extra push. And now I was thinking about it on my way over here this morning. I can walk into the workout and look at it and within seconds realize, okay, Rudy's going to get me on this one because he's better at me than thrusters. Like that's his jam. And so we can look at workouts now and know what our weaknesses and strengths are and say, okay, you know what? He's going to get me on this one. Or I think I got a shot at this one.
Or even like looking at a workout and doing the math and saying that's going to take 11 and a half minutes and then being plus or minus 5 seconds. Like, I knew exactly what that was going to.
That's another reason why I feel like it's addicting as well, because you're constantly thinking, right? Like you go in, you look at the workout, because I'm bad. They do program the workout for the week to where you can see every day, okay, like I should know by now what I'm going to be doing on Friday, but I truly don't pay attention until I walk in. And so when I walk in,
you probably don't even have the app, AJ.
I think I've logged into it once. I don't even know how to put my score, but I walk in and I walk in, I look at the workout and I'm like already programming in my head, okay, how am I going to strategize this? And that's what makes it so addicting, because it's like you're strategizing. And I think that's where, when you're testing your mind, that's where that strategy kicks in, and you want to do it. You want to figure this out. What's the best way to attack this workout? Where not necessarily where I'm not going to get murdered in it, but more so, what's the best way to attack this workout where I can get the best of me in it? Get the best version of myself.
Or not redlining, right? You go out too hot and all of a sudden
which has been a problem of mine.
AJ loves to go out too hot. And, it's 8 years. You need to stop doing it. But yeah, there's a lot of strategy that goes into these workouts. And the really cool thing about being in a class led by a qualified coach is they help you with all that, right? And so one of the things that we do for those of you out there that have never done CrossFit is right before the workout, the coach will go to each individual and say, okay, so it's pull-ups today. You're probably not doing pull-ups. You're going to do ring rows, or you're going to do bandit, or whatever your version is. So you go through all the movements and the strategy, and I want you to do this at this time, and I don't want you to go too fast. Like, make sure you're pulling at this rate on the rower so that you don't, your heart rate doesn't get too high, those types of things. So having all of that in a class is really, really valuable. CrossFit is a really good blend between personal training and the regular gym. And a lot of times people compare us to the regular gym. It's like, well, you can go to Planet Fitness for $10.
Yeah.
But how much would you be paying a personal trainer?
Yeah.
Right? Because that's essentially what you're getting when you are in a CrossFit class. You're getting a ton of attention. You're getting coaching. They're going to give you technique help. Like, we don't want you to squat crappy. I honestly, like, it's hard for me to go into a Gold's or one of those places because it's like,
there's so
much
much bad technique.
Rudy, don't.
There's so much bad form.
There's bad form, and it's like the coach in me wants to go and help them, and no one wants some random dude coming up to them and telling them to, spread their knees and
straighten their back,
tighten your core, and all those things. Like, just that's not. So yeah, it's really hard for me in that environment.
I think that what the beauty of this gym specifically, I don't even want to say CrossFit, but the beauty of this gym, because I have friends all the time throughout the years that have told me, oh, well, I want to try CrossFit, but I don't want to get all bulky, especially women. It's usually the women. I want to do CrossFit, but I don't want to get all bulky. And I try to reply or respond in the nicest way possible, but I'm just like, trust me, you're not going to get bulky because that's for the athletes, right? Those are the ones that are looking to compete, to take themselves to the next level and actually compete.
There is a distinct difference between. So the CrossFit Games, a lot of people don't even know what that is, but essentially that's like the NBA, right, of basketball, or the NFL of football. These people are the elite of the elite. So of course they're sitting at 6%, 7% body fat, and they're jacked. And even the women, like, they are like, they're washboard abs and their shoulders are huge. But that's because they were in the gym 6, 7, 8 hours a day working on this stuff, because that is their job. That is their career. For us that just want to feel good and look good, like 1 hour a day, 3 to 5 times a week is all you need. You need the nutrition part of it too, right? That is a critical component, but it also doesn't have to be where you're only eating chicken and broccoli 3 or 7 days a week, 3 meals a day. Like, it just doesn't have to be that. And ladies, no, you are not going to look like a bodybuilder, if you come in and try CrossFit. It just doesn't happen.
The other thing I get told a lot too from friends, when they talk about CrossFit is, oh, well, I would do it, but I don't think I can lift the weight that you're lifting, or I don't think I can do.
Of course you can.
And I think, so I always tell them, look, you're not going to start off where I'm at, right? They're going to start you, and they're going to call it what it's called scaling. They're going to scale you to something that they know you can do based off of, doing tests with you, but they're going to put you to do something that's challenging enough to where it's still, it might not be a muscle up. It might not be you doing a clean of 225 pounds or whatever it may be, but they're going to have you doing enough weight or enough of the movement in your own way or form to where by the time you leave, you're going to feel exhausted. Like, you're still going to get a good workout. Yeah. And that's what I love about it too.
And I tell people all the time. And, as you start to get more familiar with it, it is really tempting to go after that heavy weight or stretch yourself. And yes, we want you to stretch yourself. We want you to get outside your comfort zone, but not at the expense of the intended stimulus of that specific workout, right? And so if it's deadlifts and it calls for 300 pounds and you can do 300 pounds, but you're going to do one and rest and another one and rest. Whereas AJ's over here and he's not even letting go of the bar and he just knocked out 5 or 6. Those are two very different stimulus. And so that's just something that people have to be aware of. If you want to truly progress, you have to pay attention to that stimulus, not just the weight or hitting, we call it RX, as prescribed. Who gives a shit what's prescribed? You do what's appropriate for you, and you're going to get in the best shape of your life.
True. So let's shift over and talk about the business as a business owner. I've been part of this journey that you and Elaine have had, where even when you opened Fit Stop in the very beginning, you were still working full time as a general manager, right?
Yep.
At Chili's.
Chili's.
And so I believe one day you just took that leap of faith and said, okay, I'm going to walk away from this career and truly invest into CrossFit and running this business full time.
It's interesting because it goes back to what we talked about at the very beginning. If you build it, they will come. 6 months plus or minus, and I'll be able to leave my job. 4 years later, I was finally able to do it. And even at 4 years, it was a leap of faith, because it's like, does the gym make enough money to be able to support us? And, there's ups and downs, just like any other business. And it was really scary. But I knew that if I didn't leave my job, we would never get the gym to
its
the
full
point
potential.
to its full potential. And that's really what we wanted to get it to.
That's true. And to see, so can you put the picture of the very first, when we first opened the gym? To see how FitStop has evolved over the years has been amazing. So this was FitStop in the very beginning. How much square feet was that?
The building was 1,300 square feet, but there was probably 400, maybe even 500 square feet of office, restroom, and shower space.
Yeah.
So it was 800 or 900 square feet of usable.
And we would
workout
fit
space.
10 people in there?
Heck yeah, we would.
With barbells?
Oh, yeah.
We would fit a
Oh,
good
yeah.
amount of people still. It's funny now because now we have a much, much bigger gym, and it's crazy to see how many people we can fit in there now. But I don't know how we did it, but we still were able to fit a significant amount of people in there working out. And it was like this, we had AC in there. Don't get me wrong. This is what's funny about this. When we had FitStop here, we had AC in this building.
Yep.
So we relied on the AC. And then when Rudy showed the gym that he was opening up, our first thought was like, God dang, it's hot in here, the big warehouse now. And so sure enough, you adapt to it. And I already I'd started doing competitions already when we were moving into the new gym, and to where I knew, I was like, you know what, I'm good with this, because a lot of CrossFit gyms don't have AC,
Yep.
and so it's really cool to think. Now I will say this, the time that does suck for me specifically is in the winter time, because it is cold. And so I don't know how those 5 a.m.ers and 6 a.m.ers do those workouts in December and January, because it is cold. We got heaters, we'll throw on some heaters, but it is cold, man. No, this was the first one. So this one had heater, it had AC, it was good. But we really got tested when he opened up the bigger gym, so that was still the first one. That's literally how small it was though, man. Like 10 people could fit a barbell on there and still work out. We're throwing up barbells like not even 2 feet away from each other and still figuring it out.
On the back wall back there, just don't fall backwards into the wall.
Yeah, because it will crash
in the
through
middle
it.
of the rig.
Yeah.
Elaine always tries to get people to work out in the middle of the rig, because it does save space, but I think more than anything, it takes her back to these times when we had to work out in the middle of the rig because there just wasn't other space.
Yeah. And then show the picture of the new gym, or just, it's not new anymore, but yeah, much bigger space, much big. And this is actually a picture from when it first opened, because the rig isn't even there anymore. It's in the middle of the facility. And this is just one area. There's still a whole separate area for the weightlifters. So we have a weightlifting program as well. And this is just for the CrossFit classes.
Yeah, so that original space, workout space, was 700, maybe 800 square feet of usable workout space. That right there is 3,000 square feet. So significantly bigger. And then now outside the doors, we have a covered area that is matted also, which is another 2,000 square feet. So it's almost 5,000 square feet of usable
and we still fill it up.
Workout space. Oh yeah.
We still fill it up.
On Monday, we only had one class and we had 31 people working out.
Yeah,
So
it was a significant amount of people.
We had to get creative with the barbells. We
that
literally
was an
used all the
interesting one too,
barbells.
because it was all barbells. Yeah, we ran out of barbells.
Yeah.
So
everyone had a barbell, but yeah, it was close.
So I want to talk on, in my opinion, being part of FitStop throughout the years, I feel like as not only as a business owner, but as a gym owner, you were tested in 2020 with the shutdown, with COVID happening. And I remember when it happened, it was just like, man, like, how are we going to go about this? Like, we're so used to being next to each other and sharing barbells and everything, to where it's like, oh, we need to keep a certain amount of space. And oh no, gym is closing down. Now we need to work out from home. That was a challenge, I would imagine.
That was scary. So it takes me back to really 2008 when the economy crashed, right? And people were losing their jobs left and right. And you see stories of, both parents or both money makers in the family, both losing their jobs. And it's like, it almost felt like that's what we're in, because we work together and this is our livelihood. And if this is gone, like, what do we have? Like, there's nowhere to.
You mentioned you had
to turn
invested your whole 401k into this business.
Yeah.
Right?
So when we first opened up, I had a pretty good 401k from Chili's, and that's how we opened. Is I literally emptied my 401k to be able to get all the equipment. And you saw that original picture. There wasn't really that much stuff, but that's what my 401k went to. And I always tell Elaine, one of these days we're going to pay ourselves back. We still haven't paid ourselves back that money. But yeah, so it was a leap of faith. And then when COVID rolls around, it's like, it's scary. Honestly, to me, the scary part for me wasn't the financial, like, you figure money out. What I was scared of was
someone in the gym.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. It was tough. That was, man, it's so crazy how we move on from that and we forget about how serious those moments were, because that was a tough time. And I remember how serious you and Elaine were taking it. Like, it was, you're right. Y'all were more worried about the safety of others.
We had to be, there were so many unknowns. I remember early on, like January, Elaine posting something about this thing going on in China. And I pulled her aside and was like, don't freaking scare people. Like, that's not going to come over here. That's not going to happen. And then a couple months later, we're in it. And, having the conversations with her, we actually closed before the city told us to. It wasn't by much. It was 2 or 3 days. But on that Sunday, we decided we're not opening tomorrow because this thing is here and we don't know what's going to happen. And we serve a vulnerable population.
Yeah.
Right. And to me, exercise is important. Community is important. But if you're doing those things at the risk of potentially losing your life, then it's no longer important, right? And so the most important thing to us was taking care of our community. And the way that we were going to do that was, back then, it was close your doors for 2 weeks, right? 2 weeks to stop the spread, or whatever the heck the saying was. And it was scary. We didn't know what we were going to do. And so to answer your question, how do we get through those few months? Well, we went online. We were on Zoom every day, doing workouts in our garage. Yeah,
that was unique and that was cool.
It kept us connected more than anything. And truth be told, I think that the human connection that we get in that building is even more important than the exercise. Sure. And so it kept us connected. We even did happy hours on some nights. I mean,
we'd have a happy hour night on Zoom.
Yeah, we had to see each other's faces, and we did what we had to do, and we maintained probably 95% of our members through those couple of months that we were closed.
I wanted to talk about that too, specifically because I remember when that moment came when y'all decided to close the gym. You gave everyone an option, like, hey guys, because we're closing the gym, y'all don't have, almost like you don't have to pay your membership. Like, it's optional at this point. We're going to be working out from home. We're still going to do Zoom calls, and everyone's going to, like a workout party on Zoom where we all watch each other and work out in our garages. But it was an option at that point. And I remember, first off, it was cool to see how many people still stuck with it and said, like, no, I'm going to pay. I'm still going to pay. But I remember when I thought about it, I was like, I can't see myself not paying. Like, I have to support the thing I love, and I have to support the people that have helped me come along this whole time where I've gotten to where even if we're closed for who knows how long, like, I'm still going to pay and support it because this is my family. This is my home this is my second home, like this is my extended family that I'm used to seeing every single day after work, to where I have no other choice but to support something because I don't want to see it fail.
We felt a lot of love during that time. And not just wanting to support Elaine and I in the gym, but also wanting to have something to come back to.
Yeah.
I think that was important to people. And, if people weren't paying, like maybe I'm back in the restaurant business at that point, or who knows where we would have ended up. But I think that was a big component of people wanting to continue to pay over that time. If we had gone on longer, I don't know how long people could have sustained that, because how long do you pay a premium price for a Zoom call? Like, I just don't know that.
And just so y'all know, guys, like this, because I was chatting with a friend last night, and she's like, I've always wanted to do CrossFit. She was like, but dang, $100 a month is a lot. And I told her, I was like, I wish CrossFit was $100 a month. I was like, it's $200 a month, just so you know. And and it's expensive. It's not a cheap membership. It's lifetime is $100 a month, and even that for people is expensive. And so, it's not cheap.
It isn't cheap, but going back to that conversation we had earlier, if you went to a personal trainer at a minimum, you're going to pay them $50 a session. If you go 3 days a week, that's $150 a week. $600 a month. For just 3 sessions, right? And so, you're paying $200, but you're getting the coaching and you're getting the community, and you're going to get really freaking fit. And really, $200, AJ, is $6 a day. How many people are drinking a cup of Starbucks coffee for $6 a day?
True.
So are you willing to sacrifice something that is not benefiting you in any way other than giving you a caffeine high in the morning to better yourself? So Jason does our beginners classes Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. And one of the things that he talks about is, if you invest in yourself now, in your health now, then you're not going to have to be paying the doctors, and you're not going to have to be, potentially having, heart issues and diabetes and being on medications. I can't tell you how many people we've helped get off of different medications. And so, yes, it's expensive, but what is the value? What are you getting in return? What is the return on investment that you're putting into this? It's your health. It's your well-being. It's emotional and psychological just as much as it is physical. Like, it is just so many things to people but you have to be in it, and you have to invest yourself in it. And truthfully, we get a lot of people that come in and try it, and like you, they'll come once or twice a week, and it just doesn't stick, and then all of a sudden they're gone. It's like you never truly gave it a shot. And you just have to be willing to go there.
It's so true. I'm going to share something that I don't think I've ever told you, but with one of the classes I teach and the seminars I do, the building your business through referrals, I talk about FitStop a lot. There's a slide of talking about FitStop in that class, and it talks about, your investment and what do you get in return. And so again, besides the weight loss I've had, besides the fitness journey I've had, besides how it's helped me, like mentally, in my mental fitness and my just clarity on life and everything, the stress, everything that it's done for me in a positive way. The thing that I also say that it's done for me is, and it's all thanks to you and Elaine, is I have made so much money. So much money in commissions through sales from the FitStop. I've maybe paid, because I pay for me, I pay for Madi, I pay for the kids now that are doing kids CrossFit. I have paid easily about $20,000 in membership dues throughout the years, but I've made well over $300,000 in commissions. Just from members at FitStop, and this isn't even me going into the gym and wanting to talk real estate to people.
Like, you don't ever do that.
I never do that. It's actually the opposite. I go into the gym to decompress from work, and so I don't even want to talk about work. But because Elaine and you have constantly put me out there as in, hey y'all, just so y'all know, AJ's a realtor. It has helped me so much for my business, where I've made a very profitable business through just FitStop. And so again, it's those little things like the COVID shutdown that was a no-brainer for me to still pay, right? That it was also a no-brainer for me to just contribute in any way I can, because I've seen how much it's done for my business too. And so that's something that's also been very, very rewarding to me, is how much FitStop has helped my business grow.
You know, and there's a lot of that, truthfully, and this shouldn't be, I don't know. I mean, if you want to join a place like the FitStop for the networking, absolutely, yes, that potential is there. But it's something that we've seen, like Alex in the dog grooming, like all of the members take their dogs to Alex.
Yeah,
and
it's
honestly,
really cool
it's
to see
because it's so cliche, but it truly does become a family. We're all a family in that place. And so, yeah, we want to do business with the people that we're closest with because we trust each other. That's really what it comes down to.
We hang out with each other a lot too.
Yeah,
outside of the gym.
Absolutely.
So that's really cool.
You know, the massage therapists and the dog grooming and the real estate. I mean, yeah, it ends up becoming almost like a self-serving community. For sure. Where there's a lot of different professions that you can find.
That's why you'll notice in CrossFit, I mean, because it's not cheap to be a member at CrossFit and in CrossFit in general. So you usually see a lot of business professionals. There's a lot of teachers at our gym. There's a lot of law enforcement, nurses. Yeah. I mean, like I said, we have doctors. I don't know if we have an attorney. Do we have an attorney? I don't think so. But again,
kind of
all these different professions, general contractors, all of it. So not only are you making yourself vulnerable and getting a good workout in and helping your fitness journey, but you're also becoming friends with some high level people that you get to surround yourself with and potentially do business together, which obviously that's not the point of joining, but it's a nice side effect. It's a nice add-on that has helped my business tremendously. And so that's been really cool as well. Is just being very grateful for all the opportunities that have been created for me there at the gym. I want to talk a little bit, I think we're running low on time, but I want to talk a little bit on duality coming up.
Okay.
So guys, just so y'all know, okay, so here's the thing that I'll say, because another thing that people will say about CrossFit is, oh, I want to try it, but don't y'all get hurt all the time? Guys, let me be the first one to say, and I will be the example, that I have gone through so many injuries that were self-inflicted. And what I mean by that is I am bad about doing mobility on my body. I am bad about getting massages and stretching and I should say taking care of my body after the workouts. Everyone knows that at the gym, that I'm the worst at that. And so the injuries that I have gone through, which actually some of them didn't have anything to do with CrossFit. I remember I was playing soccer in a men's league, and that's when I first, popped my calf muscle, and that was in soccer. I remember I fell in the shower a couple years ago and got a concussion. It had nothing to do with CrossFit. But a lot of my injuries that I've had have been because of me, not because of CrossFit itself. It is not a dangerous sport. It is. What makes it dangerous, in my opinion, if we can say that, is where my bad habits kick in, right? We're doing a really hard workout, a very gruesome workout where fatigue kicks in. And when your fatigue kicks in, guess what? You start to lose form, right? And for someone like me versus maybe a new member is I will tend to tell myself in my head during the workout, get one more rep, get one more rep. And when you're doing that and facing fatigue, now you expose yourself to possibly injuring yourself.
That's why it's important, if there's people out there that do want to try CrossFit, is to find the right fit, right? Because there's a lot of really great CrossFit gyms out there, even here in San Antonio. I know one really good one, the FitStop behind the airport. But finding the right place, I joke a little bit, but finding the right place for you and making sure that you're going to be taken care of, because there are, as many as there are good places to go, there are places that will kind of just throw you in the deep end and let you figure it out. And it's RX or else, right? Like if you're not doing the work as written, then what are you even doing? Like there's a lot of that mentality still out there. True. And that's dangerous. That's not the approach that anyone should be taking. You know, doing and maybe you even scaled too much. But when someone's first starting out and we're learning your abilities and you're learning your abilities, I would much rather go easier than harder so that we can figure out where that sweet spot is, and we can progress from there. But shop around. Most of us do a free week. At our gym, we even do $14 for 2 weeks. That way you can really get a good idea of what's going on and what it's going to be like, that type of thing. So everyone in some form or fashion does some sort of trial. Try a bunch of places out and go with the one that feels right. Don't go with the very first one. Don't go with the very last one. At the end of trying out the places within a perimeter of your home or your business, really sit down and think about which one felt like it was the right fit and go with that one.
So a couple things out of that. I've had over the years, a lot of friends reach out and tell me, I want to go try out your gym. And I'm like, I always ask, the first thing I ask was, where do you live by?
Yeah.
Right. And if they live on the other side of town, I tell them,
it doesn't work.
I wouldn't recommend coming to my gym. Not that I don't want you there. It's just that the likelihood of you sticking with it and traveling across town to come into a workout and showing up on time, because I'm not known for showing up on time, but showing up on time and driving across town, you're going to fall off. You're just, especially if you've never done CrossFit, you're bound to fall off. So go join a gym that's close and convenient to where you live.
You want to remove as many barriers as you possibly can. Yeah. One of those being convenience. If it's not convenient, eventually it does, it becomes work, right? Yes, it's always fun and challenging and all those things that we've talked about, but it's a lot more tempting to stay on the couch sometimes. Yeah. Right? And especially if you have to fight through traffic and you're coming from Alamo Ranch or whatever. Like those, we have found that a 5 or 6 mile bubble around the gym is kind of the sweet spot. And that's true for most gyms, unless you're rural and you're one of those places. But that 5 or 6 miles, that's a pretty standard number, because that's 10, maybe 15 minutes at the very most. Yeah. Outside of that, you've said it, it's not going to be convenient. And the other things that you have to remove are, the negative influences. Not that you have to stop being friends with people or anything like that, but give yourself a fighting chance to really work on yourself. And if you have people that are in the corner saying, "Why are you doing that? You're going to get hurt," or that's you're going to quit that anyway. If they have any kind of negative voice, shut that shit out. Shut it out and work on yourself. And all of a sudden, 6 months, 9 months down the road, you're going to find yourself feeling totally different.
It's what's kind of funny to this too is throughout the years, and I know you've seen it firsthand, but I've had multiple mortgage lenders join FitStop or come try FitStop. Yeah. And because they're like, "Hey, AJ, I want to come try out your gym." And I know what they're doing. They're trying to just, build rapport with me, get closer to me. And okay, let me go join what AJ does. So that way I can maybe build a friendship with him to do business with him. So they'll come and try out the gym and you never see them come back. It's funny, man. Like it's cool to see in a way, but at the same time, it's funny because it's like you tend to know, based off of interaction, you tend to know who's going to make it and who's not, right? Like where their mind's at too.
It's interesting because as long as we've been doing this, I'm still really bad at knowing who's going to stick and who isn't. Yeah. And I'm
so a lot of people surprise you then.
Yeah, in a good way too. Yeah. Like it's like, man, like I really didn't know that would stick. But it comes down to a mentality, right? So you come in for that first workout or that first week, and it kicks your butt.
Worst one.
Regardless of where your fitness level is and how much scaling, it's still going to be really challenging. You're going to be really sore. And there's two types of people. That first person says, "This is really hard. I don't want to do this." The second type of person says, "This is really hard. I'm not going to let this beat me." Yeah. Right. And so then that person keeps chipping away and working hard and fighting through that initial shock, because it is like you're going to struggle to sit on the commode.
So I'll tell you the two that I love, the two different types of people that I love, that the new members is, when we're doing the warm up and they're like, "That's just the warm up."
Oh yeah.
When we're done with the warm up and we're like, "All right, now let's get into the strength portion." They're like, "Wait, what? That's just the warm up?" And I'm like, "Yeah."
The twins. I love telling this story. I probably shouldn't tell this story because it scares people away. And I can never remember which one it was, but one of them threw up on the warm up, and it was not a hard warm up, but 3 years later or whatever it is,
they're badass now.
They're badass. Yeah. They're doing muscle ups. They're doing like they're competitive. Yeah, they are legit athletes.
Yeah.
But they were, and I remember thinking, crap, he threw up. There's no way they're coming back. Here they are 3 years later, or whatever the timeline is.
That's so
still
true.
chipping away at their fitness. You know, it's so awesome to see.
And I don't want to dog this type of new member, but I love when I see the bros come in, the gym bros.
Oh, yeah.
You know, the big, bulky muscle dudes.
The
that
gym
come
bros
in.
know that we call them gym bros. I bet they
Gym
don't know.
bros, yeah.
I
When
bet
they
don't
come
know.
in and they're trying CrossFit for the first time because maybe their girlfriend goes to our gym or something, and you see them and you're just like, oh, they're gonna die today.
The more muscle bound, the lower the body fat percentage, the more it's gonna suck for them.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. They'll kill it on a bench and they'll kill it on a squat, but get them to do an endurance workout and they are getting murdered.
Oh yeah,
and,
by the grandmas.
Yeah, by the little elderly ladies that are working out. So
Yep.
that's really cool too, because I want to talk about Duality. We have a big event coming up called Duality that Chris Galvan, who I've known for years too, is now a realtor as well and sells real estate. He's always hosted these annual events that have just blossomed, turned into a really big event for the city. A lot of people come in from all over the state to compete in this competition. And you know what? Can you put up the picture of me and Rudy? So
I don't like this picture.
I like it. I think it's cool. It kind of gives me the vibe of Maverick and Goose.
Oh god.
We were talking about Top Gun before we started, but this picture right here was, gosh, what was that? Maybe 2017. And I don't know what the hell I was doing with those pants on right there. I was going through a phase with leggings, for men's leggings. But this was, I believe, 2017 in Corpus Christi. This was one of Chris Galvan's events. I can't remember the name of the event, but it was a big event. And we'd had a partner competition. And so we're doing this workout, and it's so cool because it's cool, but it's funny. So one of the other workouts we did this day, mind you, some of these movements, just like this one you see on the picture, had to be synchronized, right? Meaning that we have to be touching or doing something.
At the top.
Yeah, so at the top, we had to be hitting something, a component, at the same exact time. Yeah. And so there's a video. We didn't put it on here, but there's a video where me and Rudy were having to do pull-ups synchronized, meaning that both of our chins were having to get above the bar at the same exact time. And so we were doing what is called kipping pull-ups. And out of nowhere, I've never done them before. Out of nowhere, I start doing butterflies, which is a little bit more of a how should I call that? Like a more experienced progression of the movement where you're able to knock out more reps. It's for high volume, right? To knock out high volume reps in a quicker amount of time. And out of nowhere, I just start doing these butterfly pull-ups, and Rudy looks over to me like, what the hell are you doing? And I'm just like, I don't know, but it's working, so just go. And so honestly, man, like those are some of my greatest memories when it comes to CrossFit, is those competitions. Because gosh, I think I've competed in easily over 30 competitions throughout the years. I think 2017, that year, it was the year that I did the most competitions. I think I did about 12 of them that year. And sure enough, man, I was in the best shape ever. But at the same time, it's like every 2 weeks I was training for another competition. And I loved it. I loved traveling. That was really cool too, that whether you were competing or not, you and Elaine would go with us. Y'all would go with us just to support us in our competition. And that was just that camaraderie and that family vibe, that it was like, you know what, we have no specific gain out of this other than supporting our members that are competing. But those have been some of my greatest experiences throughout the years, is going to competitions. And so we have this big one coming up on October 1st called Duality, right? And I would say I'm pretty sure, I'm confident in saying that there's people coming from all over the state of Texas. Right. I mean, there's people that have came from out of state, to compete. And it's a big event, and there's several different divisions. But what I'm looking forward to the most, first off, I qualified. I just found out on Sunday that I qualified for this event. There's different divisions where you can easily make it just by signing up and paying, right? Your fee to compete. But then there's certain divisions, I would say maybe more experienced divisions, where you have to qualify, right? And so in my division, they were only taking 10 people to qualify. Like there was only 10 people going to this event, and I qualified. I think it was 8th place. And so now I get to compete, which the other thing that I'm not just looking forward to, but the other thing too, that I'm like, holy shit, I need to step my game up, because I got 8th place out of these guys that I'm going to be competing with that are all going to be ready to compete. Yeah. And so it's going to be a very high level of competition that I'll be going against, but that's going to be at the Freeman Coliseum. And so I was telling someone a couple of days ago that I do think that I'm borderline crazy, because I like to talk to myself a lot, as in third party. And I build this narrative in my head. I'm really, because I'll tell you right now, I watch a lot of these like UFC Embedded, right? Mm-hmm. Like it's the documentary following the fighters before their fight, or like the pay-per-view boxing where what do they call that? Where they're following the fighter on his journey training. Yeah, they're following their journey leading up to the main fight, and I build this narrative in my head where I try to create a storyline for myself. And I'll never forget the last time I competed at the Freeman Coliseum was in 2016 Power Output Challenge, and it was a lower division that I was in, but at the same time it was still a competitive division. And where I'm getting at is I feel like this duality event coming up is a chance for me to redeem myself, because what happened in 2016, I don't know if you remember, I won one of the workouts, which was really cool, but I had made it to the finals in my division. And so the finals was the top 5 guys in your division going to do this final workout to determine who makes podium, who makes top 3. And I didn't know how the scoring system worked at that time. I wasn't familiar with it. So I didn't know going into the finals that I was ranked 2nd place because of how well I did in the workouts. Yeah. So I go into the finals, and again, I don't know if you remember because you were there watching me. I had it was double unders and snatch. And I don't know if you remember that one snatch I did where I lost my balance and I shot back into another competitor's space. I don't remember that. And everyone was looking at me like, what the hell did this dude just do? And I remember in that moment when that happened, I was thinking to myself, I just fucked myself over. Like I just bombed this, right? Like I didn't know where I was ranked at, but I'm determined that I just bombed this workout to where I'm not going to podium. So again, top 5 guys that were competing for podium, only 3 make it. And sure enough, I got last place in the finals workout, right? So I didn't know. I thought in the finals workout, it was winner take all. Oh. I didn't realize they were going to accumulate those points from earlier that day's, all the workouts that you did. So sure enough, I'm just morally defeated, right? I'm pissed, I'm defeated, I'm sad because I felt like the opportunity was right there for me to podium, and I blew it in the finals workout. So then I left, right? I think a lot of us had left, and I'll never forget Henry Garay, which is a good friend of mine that I keep in contact to this day. He calls me. I'm already exiting my house to get home. And he calls me and he's like, AJ, where are you at? And I was like, oh, I'm almost home. He's like, dude, they just called your name. You made podium. You took 3rd place. And I'm like, wait, what? And I turned around and I'm like speeding back to the Freeman Coliseum so I can get on this podium. And it was too late by the time I got there. I got my little gift bag and I didn't even get to take a picture on a podium. Like they were already announcing other winners for other divisions. And I was just so upset with myself to where now I've built this narrative. Okay, I'm back in the Freeman Coliseum in a tougher division. I'm more experienced now. All right. And now I have a shot to redeem myself to podium. So it's going to be a long journey because again, it's some serious guys that I'm friends with on social media. We've only got about 3 weeks. I know we got about 3 weeks. So my goal is to be not just in the fittest shape that I've ever been in going into this competition, but also mentally. As you start competing, if you choose to become a competitor, the big misconception is it's not just about your physical fitness, it's about your mental fitness too. Oh yeah. And I learned that quickly on because when you're working out and you're doing these workouts that are just a whole nother level than what you do in your daily gym workouts, like these are workouts that will have you laying on the ground gasping for air, right? People throw up, whatever it may be. Like people have fainted and passed out. And
He's being a little dramatic.
no, man. I mean, I've never fainted. I've actually to this day have never thrown up. Gotten close, but never thrown up. But so these are intense workouts, and I know by now through all the competitions I've been in where my mental fitness needs to be in order to stand a chance to possibly qualify or to make podium. So I'm really looking forward to it. It's the week before my birthday. And yeah, I'm looking forward. And this is also one of the first times too, as of right now, that I'm going into a competition and not injured, right? Like I tore my meniscus back in December. So that took about 3.5 months to rehab, but now I'm feeling great. And now it's just like, all right, it's go time. And so I'm pushing myself more now and I'm looking forward to it. It's a big event at the Freeman Coliseum that I'm looking forward to redeem myself. So yeah,
it's a lot of fun getting out there.
Yeah.
Regardless of the division, regardless of your experience level, that first competition, like we said earlier, you know, you get bitten by that bug, and that just makes you want to work harder and get fitter, and you know, progress up the division ladder, and you know, see how far you can go. I don't know if this is still the case, but I know back when I started, it was like, maybe I can make it to the CrossFit Games. No. That's just no.
Oh,
like literally,
man. that crossed my mind too.
That is the top 1% of the top 1%. Like they are elite athletes.
What is it? The 40th fittest people on earth?
40th. So they do the CrossFit Open in February every year, and that is usually. I want to say about 300,000 to 500,000 people do that competition, and from that they take 40 to the CrossFit Games. So if that gives you any idea of how fit these people are, it's incredible. You know, it's back in the day there was a CrossFit documentary that talked about one of these days there are going to be people that can run a sub 5-minute mile and deadlift 500 pounds.
Wow.
And it was like they were looking way out into the future. Now, anyone that makes it to the CrossFit Games is
that you have to do that.
Running that 5-minute mile and deadlifting 500 pounds. Like these people are.
It's
really,
ridiculous
really
to see what their abilities of what they can do, and a lot of them are young. They're early 20s. You know,
it's getting younger now. You know, it's interesting because especially like watching this year back. There was an 18-year-old got second place. There was a 17-year-old that was in the top 10. Like they're young, but these kids. So like my daughter, she's going to be 13 next month. She's grown up in the gym, right? And so it's a whole other animal,
she
man.
Is ripped with abs, like his daughter is ripped, dude.
It's a whole other animal now because these kids literally from the time they probably hit puberty or whatever, they're coming up in this CrossFit world, and so now they're of age and they're wrecking shop, man. It's going to, I think in the next 10 years, it's going to be a 19 to 22 year old game. And just so like NFL, you know, some of these other elite things, you know, you're talking about retirement at 25, 26 years old now because you're just not, the fitness starts to drop off, you know? So it's, these kids are really, really, really something else. It's
really cool to see. You know, to this day, whenever members join the gym that have some type of fitness level coming in already, I'm not gonna lie, I do look at those younger guys and I'm just like, all right, I want to compete against this dude.
Let
me see what this kid has, you know?
Sure.
And so and I love it because sometimes, you know, they come in and they're throwing up some they're loading the bar with some heavy weight, and I'm like, oh dude, you're gonna mess up bad. You don't know what you're about to walk into. And it's cool because we all go through that. We all go through that learning experience of what the hell was I thinking that I could do that off the top, you know, or right away. So it's cool, man. I love it. I love being exposed not just to the sport, but to this group of people that I consider my extended family, and spending, like I said in the very beginning, every day with y'all for the most part, after work, and not only that, but you know, y'all seeing some of my most vulnerable moments, you know, where I'm like defeated, you know, because of how good the workout was. And it's a really cool experience, you know, and I think that's why it brings a lot of us together, is because we see each other in our most vulnerable moments.
You know, it is a really powerful thing. And I wish, one thing that I wish for people, is that they give it a shot.
Yeah.
First of all,
Yeah.
and I'm not just saying Fit Stop. Like find a place, find somewhere near you. Give it a shot, but give it a real shot.
Yeah.
You know, commit to at least 3 days a week consistently for 6 months, 12 months even. And at the end of that, like if it's not for you, well then great. I mean, find something else. Fitness, there's no right answer when it comes to fitness. I'll say that till I'm blue in the face. If it's Zumba for you, that's great. Do Zumba, but just move consistently. CrossFit is really powerful for so many reasons, but one of them is because you're always chasing something. I said it at the beginning, you know, I'm still getting better at a lot of the things that we work on. And I've been doing this 10 plus years, you know, and so finding something that you can continually progress at and hit benchmarks and, you know, just keep going after things. That's where the magic is.
You know, a blessing for disguise for me too is that I feel like it's inspired my kids to now they do it, you know, now they're in the kids CrossFit program. And that's really cool because for years they would just go and sit and watch us work out, you know? And so now they're in it themselves and they're doing it. And it's really cute to see my little 9-year-old and my soon to be 11-year-old that are actually doing it. And they're on the floor gasping for air when they're done working out. But we're creating a lifestyle for our kids to where they are going to understand and believe in fitness at an early age as well. Like we talked about, like these athletes that are starting at an early age. You know?
Look at, so one of our coaches, Adrian, so he was actually,
that would have been a good one to put up here on a picture.
Well, so Adrian eclipses AJ. So we opened, August 11th, 2014. That was a Monday. He joined that Friday, he and his wife. So this wasn't even about Adrian, but it is really cool to tell his story. Like, he couldn't do a sit up, much less a pull up. He couldn't touch his knee to the ground in a lunge. Like you name it, he couldn't do it. And now he teaches people to do this stuff. Right. And so his story is incredible. If you go to our website, he's actually one of the videos on there. He talks about, not being able to bend over and tie his shoe. Like that was one of the pivotal moments for him. So he changed his life. His kids have grown up in the gym. And so, you know,
recognized
Lily and Sergio have been in some form or fashion a part of the gym for the last 8 years, and they were babies, right? Lily is she? I think she's 12, maybe she's 13. I don't know, 12 or 13. So since, you know, she's 5 years old, she was a part of the gym. And they've done the little CrossFit, you know, programs that we've done for kids. Now they're both competitive weightlifters, right? Because that's where their fitness has taken them. And I don't quote me, right? But I'm pretty sure that they're both placed at least first or second in state in their divisions in weightlifting. Like they're phenomenal athletes. And it all started because their dad, I convinced my middle school buddy to come and do this CrossFit thing that I was opening up, you know, at
it's so true.
You know, 8 years ago.
It's so true. Because Sergio, what is he now? 17?
17, 18?
And Sergio was a little kid that we used to just not make fun of, but tease because he was the little, you know,
he was 9 years old.
He was a little kid that would hang out with us and work out. And now this kid throws up more weight than me, and most people in our gym. He's throwing up some heavy weight for a 17-year-old. And it's really cool to see. It's really cool to see that.
I'm pretty sure did he snatch 100 kilos? So about 220 pounds?
That is crazy. And the snatch movement, just so y'all know, is probably the most complex movement. Like it is not easy to do. It's my nemesis. It is not easy to do. So when you can throw up 100 kilos as a 17-year-old, that is ridiculous. That is, I mean, that's elite. That is elite. You know, and so
it is
really cool. And it's a beautiful movement. I think the snatch,
when it's done right, it's beautiful.
Yeah, when it's done right, the snatch movement of weightlifting is such a beautiful movement. Like to see it happen and the form and when someone hits it, especially throwing on a ton of weight, it is such a beautiful movement to watch. So well, we're going to wrap it up, man. Thank you for coming on today and sharing your story and the fitness journeys and whatnot. And hopefully we shed some light for a lot of people that have always thought about CrossFit and have never given it a shot because they hear all these horror stories.
So one quick last note on that is people say, you'll hear that, you know, CrossFit will hurt you. What is CrossFit anyway, right? It's a mix of a bunch of different movements, right? And so you can get hurt running. You can get
Which I
hurt
have.
weightlifting. You can get hurt
Playing
doing
basketball.
plyometrics. You can get hurt doing any of these number of things. And so what is it exactly that hurt you if you did get hurt in that environment? It's not CrossFit. It's, you twisted an ankle running or whatever the case, or you hit your shin on the box or whatever. So it's not, this belief that you're going to get hurt. Like in the time that we've been open, and I can only speak for us, I don't know of anyone that has seriously injured themselves to where they're not able to do it anymore or anything like that. Are there aches and pains and my shoulder feels a little crappy right now? Yeah, there's some of that because you're working your butt off. If you're gonna work really hard on something physically, odds are there's gonna be some things that come along with that. But what's the alternative? Sitting on the couch and not ever feeling anything? Like I don't know. Like that's just not. It's
true.
That's not something that I
Very
want for
true.
myself.
And it's even created a thing for me when I travel. When I travel now, it's like, oh, I need to go drop in a CrossFit gym because it's like, man, like I need to work out. I need to still maintain my workout. So very true. Very true. It's a bug that you fall in love with and it becomes a lifestyle. And and I love it. So. Again, man, thank you for coming in this morning and meeting with us and sharing the story. Let's plug in FitStop real quick. How can people find FitStop?
Our website is the FitStop SA, San Antonio, thefitstopsa.com. All the information's on there. There's testimonial videos. You can contact us directly. If you want to come and check out the gym, you have a bunch of different ways to do that.
Friends Week, right?
Yeah. So right now we're actually doing Friends and Family Week. You would have to kind of dig through social media to find that, to be honest. But if you call us and you say, hey, I want to do that, I mean, we'll get you hooked up. But on the website, there's 3 different ways that you can come in. You can come in just for a tour. So people like AJ that are scared and don't want to walk in the door, right? They can just come and peek in and see what's going on, and we'll talk to you about your goals and that type of thing. Or you can schedule time to try a class. And the last one is on the website. We actually call it the CrossFit Challenge, right? Come and try this for 2 full weeks with us, and that's only $14. So there's a lot of different ways to try it out. And if you don't know where we're located, we're centrally located so Wetmore behind the airport. If you come up about 6 miles, we're actually on Bulverde Road. Wetmore becomes Bulverde Road. So we're a mile south of 1604. We're about 5 or 6 miles north of 410 on Bulverde Road. So centrally located.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys for tuning in today. Like I say, every Wednesday morning at 7 a.m., you can catch the podcast going live. Make sure you like and share and subscribe to the YouTube channel, The Sauce Podcast with AJ Reygadas on YouTube. Please, we're trying to build up those subscribers, so help me out, help a brother out. But again, thank you for joining us today. Make an impact on someone's life. Y'all have a great one.